my channel. I'm Deanna and you're watching Orchid D, and I'm just gonna do a pretty random update for you on stuff that's happening out here today. I want to show you some of the after effects of that really bad sunburn day, and if you haven't seen the video I'll put a link up now. But yeah, I had some pretty horrible damage. It was a really bad day, and quite a few of my plants have shown more deterioration over the weeks, and I've had a few losses. So I'll show you the orchids that I've lost. I've just kept the tags and it just looks like a bit of an orchid cemetery really, but yeah, I probably lost about 5 or 6 orchids, and you know, most of them were a little bit sick already, or seedlings. Things are otherwise actually going pretty well here. The frags are all kicking on, and you can see I've got the blinds down today. It's about midday now. I had a really nice sleep in today, and yeah, you can see, well, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's direct light coming in through to about a metre on the ground, so that's shielding bees for the most part. And I'm not sure, as the sun does move further down and into this space, I may have to shuffle things around again. But a few little progressions that I want to show you. So Bulbophyllum, Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry. I was wondering whether those little things were new spikes or new growths, but have a look. What do you think? They look like spikes to me, guys. So this one gets kept furthest back from anything. It doesn't get any direct light at all. In fact, I would say that it's a pretty low light orchid, because it has flowered on, well, not very much light, but also it's a new plant for me, relatively new. I got it in October last year. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing with this orchid. I just keep it constantly moist. I know it likes to grow long rhizomes and grow outwards, so that's its growth pattern, but I am really excited. My first Bulbophyllum bloom on my only Bulbophyllum. That's pretty cool. So I'll show you some of the sun damage that's occurred. This shelf isn't too bad, but the one I probably feel the worst about is my little Sideria japonica. I really love this guy, and I probably should have kept it inside over summer. But yeah, it does tolerate the heat well, but it does not tolerate direct sunlight at all. It does not like it. And yeah, you can see the damage there, but overall the plant is still okay, so at least I have that. But it really likes being outside for winter. It likes that really cold temperature drop. It can withstand pretty cool temperatures, as long as it, you know, isn't frost. And yeah, it did spike last year as a very little guy. The rest of these guys have lost a few leaves, but they're okay. And Zygopetalum here, well, you can see the burnt leaves, but the actual bulb is okay, and so I think the plant's going to be okay. Now the thing is, some of these leaves are probably touching the floor, and this floor, I swear, with direct heat on it, you could fry an egg. Like, it gets so hot. It's just the wrong material to use. I think you can't walk barefoot on that at all when it's got direct sun. So yeah, just having those few leaves even a little bit close to it, I'm sure that's just what did it. But yeah, that's not too bad. And we've got the Vanda here, which I'm not sure if you can see. Let me turn around. There we go. So it's lost about 3 leaves. It lost a whole new little growth down there, but actually the stem is still firm in there. It's still okay. It's lost some roots. They've completely dried and desiccated off, but look, it was a big plant. It was a very vigorous plant, and it's popping out a new leaf there, as you can see. So yeah, it's going to pull through. Now the Stanhope, as you can see, this one continues to get some direct light and the leaves are warm. But I'm starting to think these stanhopers can really withstand some light. So I'll show you another one on the other side, but it pretty much got the brunt of the light, and yeah, it seems fine. So I've got my Carnivorous Plants, my Nepenthes, which yeah, they did not do so well. They probably dried out completely. In fact, they dry out very quickly, so I'm still learning about these guys. They're still hanging in there in my care, not doing great, but yeah, I've got that one and a really cheap little one I got from the hardware store, and yeah, you can see the damage on that. My Paphiopedilum's all pulled through, some damage on them, but just damage. I think out of all the plants, the Catasetums did the worst. So they've all forced themselves into dormancy. I've lost, I think, 2 of the Catasetums, or maybe one that I know of, and I'll show you the others that are doing really poorly. So this one is one that is probably not going to make it. You can see this completely rotted off, and the base there, see, that was affected too. And you know me and my dragon's blood, so I put a drop of dragon's blood, and it has actually stopped whatever's happening. But whether this new bulb, because that is the new cane, whether that'll pull through, I'm not sure. This plant down here is the one that I showed you with all the damage. It was the first plant that I showed you on that video, actually. So it's lost all its leaves, and this new bulb here is soft. So it's not going to make it. I really don't think it's going to make it. Now the old bulb, which is the back bulb here, sustained some damage, and that part was going soft too. And I did put some dragon's blood in, and so with these wounds, if they're sealed off with the outer layer, what I do is I release some of the pressure, and I do put like a little break, I guess, in the skin to allow the dragon's blood sap to penetrate, and it does seem to have stopped whatever's happening there. So I don't know, it may still live. I should probably just take this front bulb off, but to be honest, I really just want to see what happens and how this plant sort of deals with that infection further. Now I've ended up putting the Catasetums here on the top shelf, which is way too high for me to film properly, but overall I think they're all going to pull through. This is my Cloecia, which I do believe has lost quite a few leaves, and I really slowed down the watering on a lot of them. This one, you'll actually remember it lost a flower spike because it got a bit of direct light, but it's growing something new there, and it looks really odd to me. I have no idea. It almost looks like a new growth. I can't see buds on it. It just looks like this little rosette of leaves. Yeah, what is this one? This is Cycnoches Heron Husanum Jumbo. Oh, look at that. You can see some roots on it. So yeah, guys, it's probably a new growth, and it's growing halfway up the cane. So it was affected by the sun too. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. That's really odd. Anyway, I'll just watch and wait and see. So I guess the important thing to note is that the Catasetums did have some spider mite damage, so they were all a bit stressed anyway, so they didn't handle that heat well at all, and probably from a baseline they don't love really hot direct heat. They've got a lot of they've got really thin sort of leaves, which don't seem to withstand that direct sun very well. The Stanhopias, on the other hand, you can see this one here, it was actually right bearing the brunt of that really hot nearly 40-degree day, direct sun. And look, I mean, I am so surprised. That's its new leaf that it had already developed, and it's fine, really. The bulb that it's developed most recently is this one, and you can see it's huge. It's like twice the size of the others, and it's growing a new growth, I believe, here. Although even this doesn't quite look like the previous new growths. So the previous new growths that I've had, in fact I think there's one back here. Do you see that, how it's like unfurling at the top? And that top leaf sort of starts to form a bit of a funnel, and that usually happens pretty early. But you can see this one, it's not doing that at the tip. Now, I don't want to say it because I'll jinx myself, but what if this is a flower spike? Oh my god, I would be so excited. It would be my very first Stanhope bloom. And look, the reason I wasn't expecting it was because I thought that Stanhope flower spikes grew downwards. So that's why you pot them in these sort of open mesh baskets, so the flower spikes can grow through down the bottom. But look, I can hope, and time will tell. The rest of the Vandas for the most part aren't too bad. So this is one that did get quite a bit of damage on it, you can see, but none of it has particularly progressed. And again, this one too is pushing out that leaf still. I don't think it got any more sun than some of the others, but what's the name of this guy? It is Vanda Dr. Arneck crossed with Gulwadi fragrance. Yeah, I think it's always been a little bit more sensitive to that really hot direct sun. This one here, it got a bit of sun damage too, and you can see how bad it looks at the back. Now that was a spreading infection, and you can see that I've just smothered it in dragon's blood, and it hasn't quite progressed anymore, but I am certainly going to continue to keep a very close eye on it. In particular, I'm looking at these top leaves, and you can see that the infection sort of stops there, and these leaves are still okay. So that's particularly what I'm looking at, and I do keep a very close eye on this guy to make sure that that's not spreading. So over here we've got what looks like a very sad little cemetery forming. Sorry, he's only half dead. Here you go, Toby. So we'll start over here. This is my Miltoniopsis. It didn't get any direct sun. It was just a really, really hot week. Look, it has not taken my summer well, and we've had maybe 3 sort of separate weeks of temperatures between 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. It stayed inside because I thought for the most part at least we'll have some air conditioning going, you know, half the time, but obviously we don't keep it on all the time when we're out, and so yeah, it just it had enough. And if you wondered what a Miltonius looks like as it's dying, it just turns orange, and that orange spreads. What it is, I'm not sure. Look, the bulbs are soft, and it's, you know, infected somehow, but it does look like a different sort of deterioration from other orchids. It just turns this orange color, and it has this funky smell that comes from it, and it's not that typical disgusting bacterial rot smell. It just smells weird. Anyway, so that Miltoniopsis is gone, and it was Miltoniopsis Breathless Beauty. For the life of me, I don't know why this one, it was a really strong plant, but it did a lot worse than the others. The others are still doing okay, and that's probably partly to do with genetics and its background, but yeah. That one, I already got rid of the plant. This one is Oncidium Sunny Days Hylo Bay, and it was just pulling through from Fusarium. So I got this plant, and it had fusarium, and I chopped off about 3 back bulbs, and it was just growing this new growth here, sorry, this one here, and it developed, and it had a really good, decent root system developing, and yep, well, it's gone. And just a little Cattleya tenebrosa seedling. Now this one, this was obviously a big specimen plant that I had, and it's yeah, it's gone. I'm not going to try and save it. It has developed a huge sort of scaly infection, and it's time to just go in the bin. This is meant to be a spotted Cattleya, Cattleya Mark Jones crossed with SLC Catherine Clarkson, and I must say it never recovered from a repotting last year. So it came to me in 2 pots. It had never looked like it had never been repotted, and you know, the medium was completely broken down. There were cobwebs in it, and you know, all that disgusting fungus stuff. So I got rid of the medium, but when I put it into here, it never took off, and so yeah, it got very burnt, and yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye to this one now. Over here we've got some tags of other ones that have passed. Got a little catasetum here. This one, another plant, a Cattleya type that never really took off after repotting. And Lycaste aromatica, again a seedling. Had no idea what I was doing with it, and yeah, it wasn't thriving by any means, and yeah, it's gone too. So yeah, you can see the ones that I've lost, well, they weren't doing so great anyway. It was just the last straw, and they didn't have the defenses to deal with, you know, that heat, and it turned into an infection. So yeah guys, what am I doing at the moment? Well, this is my Vanda tub. I'm about to mix in some nutrients for it. So over here as well, I am going to mix up some solution for my upstairs balcony and my upstairs grow space orchids. I transport water up in these 5-litre containers with some RO water, because my RO tap's downstairs, so I take that upstairs. And today we're going to be using Strikeback for orchids, which does have seaweed in it, and you can see the makeup there. So a little personal thing about me, I really love using stuff up. I don't know, but I also tend to accumulate a lot of things because firstly I'm an impulse buyer, but also other people just give me shit, like so my grandma, my auntie, you know, they've all given me fertilizers and bits and pieces, so and I always feel like I have to use stuff up. So anyway, the stuff that I'm using up, if you're interested, is I've got this Strikeback for orchids, which I personally bought ages ago. What have I got? I've also got this grow and flower stuff that my grandma gave me that I'm using up. As I'm using up all this liquid stuff before I mix up my Peters XL that I bought like months ago. But you can see, like, it's not too bad either. It's got, well, I consider it a pretty decent mix. They've all got calcium and magnesium. They've all got micro elements. But you know, I buy stuff as well. So I've got my Cocoa Cow, which is my CalMag. I've got this stuff, which I haven't used yet. I bought it from an orchid show, and it's actually like calcium and nitrogen mix, and a bit of magnesium as well. Here I've got my pH and TDS meters, and I have a range of syringes that I keep here, and you know, 20ml, 10ml, 5ml, 2ml syringes there that I used to draw up the fertilizers and solutions fairly accurately. And I do keep little notes of the solutions that I put together for both my Vanda tub and for those 5 litre tubs, so I don't have to check everything every single time. So over here, my friend gave me this, and I'm sort of interested to see how I would use them, but basically it's a bit like an A and B solution, so you know, like a grow and flower separate thing. But this is 409 NPK, so it doesn't have any phosphorus, but it's got some potassium and nitrogen, and it's got some microelements there, whereas this one is heavy in phosphorus and potassium, so it's got some microelements there as well. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how I would use them yet, but maybe as a top up with, you know, my regular fertilizers if I want to add a bit more of something, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't actually used them yet. And up here, just some random stuff. There's my Peters XL I've just got sitting there, haven't opened it yet. Little pH up and down. This is silica, which I have started adding here and there to my flush, like my plain RO water. Just some silica to add to that. It does tend to alkalize the solution. It's quite a strong alkaline solution actually, so even like a mil will change, significantly change the pH of, you know, a 5-litre tub sort of thing. So I don't use it with my fertilizers. I do tend to use it with my flushes. And yeah, just really random stuff if you were ever wondering what I've got in my cupboard down here. Alright guys, well, really random video, but I do hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like if you enjoyed watching, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more orchid videos. Hope you guys have a great week and happy growing until I see you next time. Bye!